I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you guys a whole lot for subscribing to my channel and for following me. So if you are new, if you have not subscribed already, I would appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button, like this video, and then share it with your friends. Also hit on the bell to get an update whenever I upload a new video. Okay, so if you want to register for my online classes, you could just see my number scrolling through the screen. You can send me a message on WhatsApp. Okay guys, so let's get started. Today I'm going to show you how to actually cut a 6 pieces gown that does not have any cuts. It is a straight cut, so that's what we're going to do today. It does not have any joining on top, so it is really simple and easy, and I'm going to do it and make it in a very simplest and easiest way ever. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to draft our basic gown, bustier gown pattern. So I'm just going to draft it. I already have it on the channel, a very detailed one, so I'm just going to go ahead and draft it, and then I'll still drop the link on the description box below. So I'm going to just input all of my measurements as I go along right now. So this is what, after drafting the basic bustier gown that does not have a cut, that's what we will now transform into a 6 pieces gown. This one is a 6 pieces long gown actually. So we impute the shoulder measurement. You divide your shoulder measurement into 2, and then you impute it. And then this is my shoulder line, my bust point line, my under bust, my waist, and then this is my hip line. So the next thing, measurement from this point like this, I'm just going to mark 7.5 inches. I'll use that as my armhole. Okay guys, so I'm going to be using the princess dart pattern. So the next thing, so if you see the line that I have here, I've already added my dart line. So from the bust line, I measured 4 inches, which is for my bust span. That's one nipple to another, 4 inches. So from the top, I just took it down to the hemline, and then I connected it with a straight line. So the next thing now, I'm going to be adding my dart. So for this kind of princess dart, I'm not going to be sharing my dart on both sides. I'm going to be putting it on one side. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to measure the center of my armhole. So you look for the middle. So for mine, here is the middle of my armhole, because I'm still going to slant my shoulder once I'm done. So here's the middle of my armhole. So from this point, from my bust line, I'm going to go up by 1 inch, and then I'll come down by 1 inch. This is just to like give me a guide on how to curve the bust properly. So from this point like this, I'm just going to take my marker, and then I'm going to connect like this. Most times I like, and then from this part I'm just going to blend like this from that curve. That's that 1 inch up. You just curve it, and then so this will help guide you. And then I'll connect it, I'll curve it to the next line, and then I'll come to my under bust line. I'll measure 2 inches. Instead of sharing my dart, I'm putting 1 inch here, 1 inch here. So from this point like this, I'll just mark 2 inches, and then I'll just blend it and let it come into it. And then it sits here, and then from this point I'll come to my waistline. I'll measure 1 inch, my 1 inch on this point, and then I'll use my straight ruler. I'll just blend it into my hip part. So I'll just clip until I come into the dart line of the other part like this. So at the end of the day, I'm going to have like about ½ of an inch on this side. So you leave ½ of an inch that you will use to separate the both of them. So sorry, ½ of an inch. So that's what I'll take out from the down part. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to, from this point now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark out 1 inch dart from this point. So I'm just going to come like this. I'll mark it like this, and then I'm going to blend it into this spot like this. I just want to cut out a little chunk so that I will not have a bulge. That's just the essence. So I'll just blend it in. So this part now I'm going to cut out. And then after doing that, this part I'm going to extend it so I will not have short on my fabric. I'm just going to do this. and then I'll extend it like this. And then from this point I'll cover out my armhole, my new armhole. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'll take out my full body measurement. I'll just measure out my full body measurement. And then for the dart, you divide all of your measurements into 4 and then you take it out. So I already have a very detailed video. Like I said, I'll drop the link in the description box. So I'll blend all of my lines together now. Okay, so you see our bustier gown without join. I'm just going to curve it out properly and then I'll cut it out. So I'm going to cut out right now and then we'll transfer to create out our 6 pieces. So in cutting, I'm going to cut like this. And then you cut out this part. So I'm going to open it up now so that you see it properly. So I hope my table is able to accommodate it for me. So you see what we have. So this is our princess bustier. Okay guys, so now we're done. The next thing we're going to do now, we're going to start transferring, we're going to start creating out our 6 pieces. So these are the parts where I'm just going to keep this and then we're going to make use of one. So these are like the parts where you are going to put into consideration creating out this gown. That's the waistline. This is the waistline. That's where we are going to put into consideration when you are doing this. This is the under bust and then this is the waist. So this is where our flare is going to start flaying from, this waistline. So I'll fold out my pattern paper again and then we'll start transferring immediately. Okay guys, so the first pattern that we're going to start with, we'll start with the center piece. So here's what you are going to do. You are going to measure out the amount of fabric that you actually want to use for this down. That's the width. For most times you could do between 10 and 15. That's on fold. Depends on how big you actually want the flare to be. That is what you use to fold. So you could use, most times you could do 10, you could do 12, you could do 15. So now what you are going to do now, you are going to take your pattern. So when making this kind of 6 pieces gown, you need to work with patterns. You create your patterns first before you transfer to your fabric. So this, just going to assume now that this is now your fabric now. So what you are going to do now, you are going to take your pattern this one and then you place, it is on fold. You place it like this and then on this is the under bust line and then this is the waistline. So what you are going to do now, from this down part, that is where the flare is. You are going to measure how wide you actually want it to be. So like I said, my pattern paper is not very big. So what I have here is about 8 inches. So normally you could do between 10 and 15 inches long. So what you are going to do, you're just going to come, if you want your flare to start flaying from your waistline, or if you want your flare to flay from your under bust, that's under bust, it's going to be like a very big flare, but from waist it will just come down to, it's going to be minimal. So it depends on what you want. So all you are going to do, you measure the length. Once you measure the length on this part like this, assume that this is 15 inches. It is very simple. You're just going to take your ruler like this and then you place it this way on your fabric. Or if you want to do it on your pattern, you can do it. So for this, I'm going to do it on the waist, on the under bust line. If you want to do waist, you start from this way, you just put it like this, and then from this point like this, you're just going to create out a very nice flare. That's how very simple it is. So after creating out the flare like this, you will take your scissors and then you would cut. You you're going to cut it straight, and then you come to the edge of the pattern like this, and then you cut it, trace it originally the way it is. You trace it like that, and then trace like this. So this is my shoulder scoop. I did not add it initially, so I'm just going to add it right now. My shoulder scoop. So this now is your pattern, your straight gown pattern, your straight bustier pattern. So you see the center of what we have. The next thing you are going to do, if you want to add your neckline, you can decide to add any neckline of your choice. For instance, let's do 3 inches by 3 inches. So this is like 3 inches width, and then the length of 3 inches. So with this now, you can cut out the back pattern. With this, you can cut out the back pattern of your back piece. All you have to do is just add your zipper allowance on this side. That's it. Your zipper allowance now, you can just add 1 inch or 2 inch for your zipper allowance. So that will be your back pattern. So I hope you understand. And then the neckline, you just mark out the neckline like this. So this is our front, center front pattern. The next thing now, we're going to do the side pattern. It is really simple. Okay guys, so in cutting the sides now, this is the side. So we're done with the center. So for the center, if you want your center piece, if you want it to flay from the waistline, so this is what you are going to do. You're just going to start, like I explained, you're just going to start flaring from the waistline. This is the waistline. So for this now, you are going to take your fabric and then just assume that this is your fabric now for the side. And then I'm just going to measure what I have here. That's what we're going to use, so it is even. So what I have here, that's the center piece. What I have here is about 11 inches. So I'm just going to take my center piece. It's okay if you notice, this is the hip part. Since it is a flare gown, you actually don't need the center piece. So I'm going to, you actually don't need the hip line. You don't need hip. So, because it is not a fitted. So I'm just going to fold in the hip like this. I'll fold it in, so we'll be able to work with it. So I'll take it like this and place it on the center. And then for this piece, so I said 11 inches. So I'm just going to come to this point like this and then measure my 11 inches. And then my 11 inches, but my pattern paper is not up to 11, so I'm going to do 10. So I'm going to just use the edge and assume that that is 11 inches, and then this part also. So it depends on how wide you want your dress to be. So I'll just use I'm just going to take it like this. And then the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to flay into our waistline point. It is really simple. You're just going to take your pattern, your ruler like this, and just land it on the waist, and then you just come like this. So you see, and then you take it on this other side also. You place it on the waist and take it to the line, the point where you measured, where you mark, and then from the waistline point, we're just going to do it like this also. I'm running short on marker. Okay, so you just lay it like this also. And then the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to cut this out. And then we'll get our center piece for our gown. It is really simple and it is easy. So you cut out this way. I just want you to note and take a good look at it. Once you get to this point, you just curve it out because it is not straight. You curve it out and then you maintain your bustier curve. So I'm trying to cut it, I'll trim it again. And then you maintain your bustier curve. And then you maintain your armhole like this also. And then you curve on this part, you curve, you know the waist is not straight, you curve. And then you blend it into your line. blend it into it so you can see what we have. So this now you can take this off and then blend all of your lines properly. So this part I'm going to blend. And then you create all of your notches on your pattern. You create all of your notches. So you see our waistline. So with this now I'm going to cut out 2 parts. So the 2 parts is going to be this one. This is just one side now of our side, and then this is our center piece. And then this is our center piece. So you can see that our 6 pieces gown is really going to be very full. So you see how it is going to look. So after stitching and everything, when you stitch, so you see you stitch it, you know, the princess seam, once you stitch like this, it's going to go, you make sure that waist is on waist, and then you stitch everything together like this. So this is where it's starting from. You're just going to blend it in properly. You make sure that everything is sitting. So at the end of the day, you are going to have some little truncations on the down part. So you are just going to blend all these little truncations. You're just going to blend them in like so. Once you are done, just blend them in like that. So okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to cut out another one of these. This other one will be on this side. So the same thing you do to the front, you do it to the back. So at the end of the day, this is how you actually cut out your 6 pieces gown princess, and 6 pieces princess dart seam gown without joining. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. 6 pieces flay actually, because it is a flay, it's not a straight. So 6 pieces flay gown without joining, princess seam 6 pieces flay. I'm trying to get the title right. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys in my next video. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. Drop your questions on the comment sections. I will reply to them. Thank you so much.